this episode of Prescott Gallery of Homes. I'm your host, Steve Irwin, and we have Kristen Olson, the marketing representative from Lawyers Title.
Hi, Steve.
And now is that representative or vice president, or what's the official title?
What's in the name of a title, really? Seriously. I've been all of that. Right now, I'm just a rep. I'm good with a rep. Yeah.
Just call me.
Just call me. That's all I need. Yeah.
And introduce our special guest.
Today, I brought with me Patricia Lollar.
Okay.
And she is an escrow officer with our office over at Frontier Village.
Now, that Lollar, that's like dollar with an L, though.
Correct. Correct.
Dollar sign.
The dollar sign. All right. I like that. So.
And Patricia's been doing this for 30 years.
Wow.
Yes.
And so you got
Yes.
you know,
Tired.
I was talking to some realtors on the show, and they've been licensed for over 30 years.
Wow.
And I said, well, I think you've been licensed over 30 years. And they said, no, I only say 20 because if I say 30, people think I'm older.
I don't want to look,
I don't want to look
I don't want to look that tired, yeah.
So
Yeah.
20 plus years in the business.
20 plus years. A couple of decades.
Three.
Three to
Three
be
decades.
exact. I just finished my third decade. Yes.
Excellent. And so is what I find interesting is your work experience. You're at the county recorder's office.
Yes.
So that's got to give you some insight that a lot of escrow officers don't have.
I know a lot about what the documents have to have on them or not have on them to get recorded properly. So it does help to know, and I know everybody that works in there too. So
Well, that makes it a little bit easier then.
yes. I used to work with Leslie when she was an escrow officer herself.
Leslie Hoffman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, she's our
County recorder.
County recorder. And then you worked over at Development Services.
Yes.
What is developmental services? I'm
Development
sorry.
services is everything inclusive, from your permitting, splitting property, getting a septic, building a house.
Is that for everywhere in here, like Prescott and Prescott
It's
Valley?
for the whole
and
county.
so it's for the whole county.
It's for unincorporated. Well, there's some areas that deal with, like the environmental unit deals with septics that are everywhere.
Sure.
I didn't know
Permitting is county,
Okay.
unincorporated Yavapai County.
Right.
Planning and zoning deals with the unincorporated areas too. As far as MLDs for splitting the property, something that comes up, you want to do something on your property that your zoning doesn't allow, you talk to a planner.
That's right.
And they say, what do you think? Can I do this? Can I not do this? Do I need to go before Board of Adjustments, Planning and Zoning? How do I accomplish my dream of my alpaca farm in the middle of downtown Prescott?
I didn't know you did all that because I met Patsy and she was a title officer, so I'm like, wow, I don't know what some of these words that you're saying mean.
So when
yes.
people call you and say, hey, I have a permit problem.
I know a lot of people everywhere. Yeah. I've met people that work everywhere, so I know a little bit about a little bit.
You know, when the last business building, commercial building we sold, we transformed it into a grocery store.
Oh, really?
A grocery store and a restaurant.
Wow.
The Aztec Grill.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Jose.
Great food.
The food is, you know, he used to be the chef.
He cooks chickens outside, and
Yeah.
you can smell them as you're on 69. They're wonderful.
Chickens and peppers and so when Jose bought the building, we wrote the contract up, and we made an appointment with Development Services, and they had the fire department there, they had the health department, they had food handler people and building codes, and we pulled the map out of the building, and it was on septic. We had to do like an in-ground grease trap. I mean, it was extensive.
Yes.
And it was a 6-month thing. But because Development Services was able to meet with all the departments, we had a plan of action.
Wow.
And we started working, I think it was almost 6 months to the day that he opened.
That's amazing, because that's really good to know, because we're starting to see a lot of Californians move over and starting businesses.
Right.
And I know that's a huge huge thing for some people, especially the planning and zoning portion.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, that the part that the realtor plays and all that is just finding the right location with the right traffic count and parking and all that. And if we know people,
You're the people because you know all the connections now. I'm so glad you
Who do I call?
I'm so glad you work for us.
if you know people that know people, then you're better off. So, but I also heard that you work for the tax assessor's office.
I did.
And so you know a little bit about taxes.
I know a little bit about taxes. I did title transfer. So anytime a transaction closes, whether it be with a title company or some other way,
Sure.
They get copies of all of those deeds, and they have to change ownership on all of those. So I worked with them, and then I also...
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you're looking at those deeds, are you actually verifying that they can change ownership?
Yes. They do
and
that.
the tax assessors, not just the recorders, the tax assessors.
Right.
Really?
The assessor's office gets the copies of the deeds, and cartography part, you know, they make sure here's your legal description, they look at the legals, they split the property, they do all kinds of fun stuff over there. And then title gets the deeds to work. And so you put your information in, you look at your deed, John and Barbara own it, and they're selling it to, you know,
Jim, Bob, and
Jill. And it's okay. So we take them off, put them on, and then if you find things where the title doesn't work, then a letter goes out to them saying you recorded a deed, something doesn't work, there's corrections. So they help them kind of get through that, tell them kind of what they need to do to get it fixed.
So now last week on the show we talked about if a seller sells a house and they're under a property tax freeze because maybe they're disabled or widowed or something, and a new buyer comes in, do you prorate the property taxes as what it should be or based upon what it was?
Ooh.
And because I think that's handled a little bit differently. I had a client call me yesterday and said, hey, I got another tax bill that wasn't paid through my mortgage. And the only thing we can think of is that the seller, because it's not public knowledge when someone's on a tax freeze. So we had, we didn't know. And so we suspect that's what happened. So it'd be interesting to see how different escrow companies do that.
I think we'd base it off of the taxes, what's actually showing, because we don't
know.
know.
Because we don't know unless we call on every single escrow, we wouldn't know.
Or unless the seller informed us.
Right.
Right. And sometimes, if it's an older seller, they probably don't remember. And I have a family member that's a widowed, and she hasn't paid any property taxes, and
oh my goodness,
it never occurred to her.
My goodness.
But she got the widow exemption.
Okay.
And so got it down to 0 for her. So
that's nice.
Yeah. So.
Well,
good to know. And so you're here to talk today about earnest money.
Earnest money and good funds.
Okay, and so maybe explain what those two things are.
So earnest money is the money that the buyer puts down when we get the purchase contract. It's their good faith. We're going to buy your property. It's a dollar amount that they've agreed upon per the contract. Money needs to come to us when it's being open, escrow's being opened. Several ways they do that. A lot of times they'll send a check with the contract, or they'll say on the contract that they're going to wire the funds. We'll send them wire instructions. It comes in.
Now, back in the day, I used to photocopy money, and we would take.
I did that. You did that. Don't you use the $100 bills? Yeah.
No, that's actually illegal.
Apparently, yes, because we can make our own now. Yes, they don't like that. No.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that's that you're actually dating yourself. Yes.
Yes. Now, explain to people what the earnest money amount should be, or could be, or is there a set amount?
Usually it's just whatever they have come to an agreement for. They discuss it with their agent, and how much are you willing to put down,
And actually, it could be 0.
It could be 0.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen them transfer like vehicles.
Yeah,
That they'll use a vehicle as an earnest money.
I was involved in one deal a long time ago where we traded a Harley for a lot out in Chino. And we used to have a real estate trade.
How does the commission get paid on a Harley?
It doesn't.
I'm so sorry.
No, we don't do it anymore.
I'll let you write it every third Tuesday
of the month. Yeah, but we have seen it where they will use other things, boats and vehicles and stuff like that.
Could be.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
not usually like horses or
No,
not seen that.
no.
So if they do put earnest money down, then what's the process from there?
We deposit it.
I have a question. Do you guys take credit cards?
No,
Do you take debit cards?
no,
Do you take cash?
no.
What do you take?
Is this compliance training?
What do you take?
We can take a check, a cashier's check, a certified check, a wire. Each thing has its own time frame for when it is considered good funds. A personal check, I believe, has to 10 days. So if, for example, they open the escrow and we deposit the check, and then 5 days later something is horribly wrong and they want to cancel, we can't release those funds until we are certain they've cleared our bank.
Sure.
So we can't release that earnest money back to buyers, whomever is going to get it, until it's actually cleared our bank. A wire, completely different. Wire is like
there.
you just gave me cash.
Sure.
Yeah, wire is just like you photocopied the cash and gave it to me.
Now, one of the things that has happened over the years, we've seen 2 instances of wire fraud. And, we do a wire fraud disclosure. I think it's on every email you guys send.
It's on our, if we put you on hold, you'll hear that.
Oh,
really
yeah,
loud.
when you call the office.
Really loud, yes.
We had a client in Kingman that got an email late on a Friday. It had the agent's name, the escrow number, the address. It had everything. It looked 100% legit. It came in Friday after lunch from the escrow officer, we thought, and it said, wire your $10,000 so we can close first thing Monday. He called the escrow company, and they had a bunch of closings. It was the end of the month, and went to an answering machine. So he went to the bank, did the wire, and $10,000. And the escrow officer called him on Monday and said, what are you talking about? And that's when we found out the email address, the from email address was just off, just a little bit. We reported it to the FBI, sent them copies of everything. And they said once the wire hits the Federal Reserve, it's done. It's gone.
You can't pull it back.
You can't pull it back, and evidently it's hard to trace.
Usually they can trace it to where it's going to, but you can't pull it back,
Right.
and it becomes really a hard time.
Yeah, and once it hits someone's bank and they pull it out, it's even harder. So that guy lost a deal, he lost his money.
Wow.
Several months later, we were able to do another deal for him, but yeah, it was unfortunate. So we tell people, unless you go there in person or you talk to the person, don't do it.
Right.
Well, and so I think, and you tell me, I don't believe any of the title companies are really just emailing like a regular email.
No,
to you the
I
wire
don't.
Instructions anytime.
No, they won't do that.
No.
They have to communicate directly, and I'm not sure how the wire instructions, because we won't do wire instructions at all.
And then we do encrypted.
Ours are encrypted, and then even on the day of close, say our seller is getting a wire of proceeds, we call the seller and verify.
Prior to,
we're sending you a wire, we're sending your money,
For
and
which
this
you
is where we're
requested,
going to send it to, and we have to sign off on our proceeds authorization that we called the seller, we verified the bank account, and that we were sending it to them. So it's
scary.
It's very scary.
It's scary.
It's a multi.
And it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, real estate's expensive, and usually proceeds from a sale or earnest money. It's more money than what I want to put on the line.
Well, we started seeing them going after the earnest money, and then they were going after the seller's proceeds. Then they started going after the payoffs.
Yeah.
And so they're hitting all avenues. And now what you're hearing more is because everybody with COVID's been in lockdown.
That's right.
People are getting hacked harder, more and more.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it's very, very scary. And your circumstances with what you had, as soon as we would have heard of it, we would have taken everything off the line.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for that whole transaction. And when we go old school, not like we're going to copy money, but we're going to go old school. And we're literally going to hand deliver everything, or it's going to be overnight, it's going to be hard copied, and phone calls, and that's it. No more emails.
Best way to do it.
Yeah.
So sorry to get off.
Yeah, we got sidetracked. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
So,
So good funds. What are exactly defined good funds? Because if I was closing on a transaction, can I give you a personal check?
you could give me a personal check if you wanted to wait another 10 days to close your escrow.
So if I'm supposed to close today, I can't then?
If you're closing today, it's got to be a cashier's check or a wire.
What about certified funds?
An official check?
Yeah.
An official check, you're supposed to wait 1 day.
Really?
From the day that you deposit it, you're supposed to wait 1 additional day because there is that built in for the good funds.
Right.
But a cashier's check is as good as cash, is as good as a wire.
Sure.
Now, if I'm not in the state and I can't give you my earnest money, do I just leave it with my real estate agents? Or is there a way that if I need to, I can send it to you?
Well, several ways. Agents do give us funds. They do deliver those to us, or
On
have
behalf
us
of
pick,
their client?
or
Just
out of their
clarify.
pocket.
Yeah,
just because
just
they're
clarifying this.
just because they're sweethearts. I got this for you.
Sorry, dear.
That's not a policy in our office, but yeah, okay.
Maybe somewhere else, yeah.
So yes, they do leave checks with the agents
Okay.
for them to give us with the contract, or for us to go pick up the contract and pick up the funds. We do have a brand new program that's coming out, or it's actually out. We can use it. It's called Start Safe.
Okay.
And so we get the contract and we initiate this Start Safe program. And we send an email to the buyer, and it has them do some things, and it has them write their check. They take a picture of the check, front and back, and then it is electronically deposited.
Oh, excellent.
The copies come to us, the copies of the check come to us, we'll generate a receipt, and then we can email that receipt out to everybody and let them know that we've got the
That's
funds.
awesome.
And the buyer doesn't have to go to the bank. They
Right.
don't have to. And that's just for earnest money. The question did come up, though.
Yeah, we're waiting on this one.
We asked if we could use it for closing funds, cashier's
Wow.
checks.
Well, because we have clients that come here and their banks aren't here.
Absolutely.
And so that it becomes a problem because now they have to rush home, or they're trying to figure out how to wire their money. And so, yeah.
Well, and some banks charge astronomical fees for wiring.
Yeah, they
It's
do.
crazy expensive. We have a buyer that lives in Hong Kong.
Okay.
Is going to buy one of our properties.
Okay.
And we're trying to figure out how to get them the paperwork to be notarized to sign.
Okay.
Oh,
And so we're trying to figure out, okay, what U.S. bank is here and in Hong Kong? And that consequently, there's quite a bit,
Good.
which I didn't know.
That's good.
And so we directed them, I think, to Wells Fargo.
Yeah, I
something.
would think that.
But there's also a U.S. Embassy there and
Yes.
other places that have
Yes.
notaries. And so, but we're waiting on the contract to come back so we can go ahead and open escrow with it.
wow.
So
Nice.
Did you do that like DocuSign, or did you actually physically overnight stuff?
he came here
Oh, wow.
and signed it, and now we have to finish up the paperwork.
Wow.
So yeah, but we do electronic signatures. So.
That makes it so
A
much
thin
nicer.
sign is the program we're using right now.
Yeah.
DocuSign is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it is. So
It's so much nicer.
and so that program's called Safe
Start.
Start.
Yes.
And right now it's only for earnest money, but not closing funds.
Right.
No.
Okay.
Give it time.
Give it time.
Give it time.
Give us a little something and we'll go, well, can we? Well, what about this?
Well, with
Whoops, I did that. Is that okay?
with COVID, nobody wants to meet, and nobody wants to touch, and nobody wants to.
Well, and I think we're seeing the end of that with, you know, the vaccinations are here. And
Yes.
my daughter's a nurse practitioner. She got her shot last week.
Good for her.
So, we're just waiting. I'm in like, you know, when everyone else gets it, you know, I'm not in a special category.
Well, no disrespect. I just heard, and we were talking about this because they lowered it to 65. And so now I'm like, there's going to be so many more people going. That I don't.
I can probably pass for that.
I'm like, I'm not sure that we're going to be able to get in. Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, it's all good.
So interesting. Hey,
what did you bring?
I brought the National Association of Realtors member statistics. So this is a report that covers the entire United States, and NAR, National Association of Realtors, they survey brokers, agents, buyers, sellers, title people.
Wow.
And they give us this report to help us understand a little insight to real estate all over. And so you guys both have a copy of it. One thing I found interesting, that 5.34 million existing homes were sold. So these aren't new builds, these are just resale homes. And that was in 2019, obviously. They don't have the numbers yet for 2020, but 5.34 million. Now, be interested to see where people are moving from and to, because I got a sense they're all moving here.
I feel like they are. I really do. The traffic's gotten a little bigger. Yeah, I feel like they are.
You know, I used to drive to work, and when I would stop at a red light, I'd be like the only car.
Yes.
Now it's like 3 or 4 cars. And it's like, oh man, what's happening?
Well, even from the time that we did, what was driving in the cars with realtors?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, we couldn't do that now. It seems like it's a little more busy. It might be a little more dangerous for us to do that.
That's right. Yeah, the streets are a little bit more crowded.
Yeah.
We're seeing, and so.
But I just see here that it says 2 million active real estate licensees in the United States.
2 million. That's right.
Wow. How many are here?
Well, I know for Prescott Association of Realtors, we have 1,800 members, and I think 1,300 are primary. So we have a lot of secondary members that live in like Sedona or Phoenix or something.
So that may not be their area of here.
It might not be their primary area.
Okay.
But yeah, 1,800. We're I know in the Sedona Association we're somewhere around 600 now.
Wow.
Yeah, I pulled the numbers the other day and I was surprised. They actually increased quite a bit, and Flagstaff's up there over 500. So the area's growing.
Yeah, it is.
And as it grows, the agent count obviously grows too with it.
It does.
It looks like one of the statistics I found interesting was 63.7% were primary residents. And so, you know, 33% are secondary homes or vacation homes or vacation rentals
or something.
Well, I think that's true in our community too.
I do too, but that's a great percentage. That's huge.
That's huge. Yeah, absolutely. And so I get a lot of calls on some of our listings. One of the questions is, can we use it as a vacation rental? And most of the time you can.
Yeah.
It depends on if it's in an HOA and what the rules are there. So let's see what else we got on this report. One thing that's kind of cool, and you pointed out earlier, is that the average real estate sales professional is a white female, 55 years and older.
They're looking younger every year to me.
They look.
They used to look older, now they're looking younger to me all the time.
They're, and so I'm on the other side of that.
So you're looking for that 55 white female agent to come work for you,
aren't you? To come work for me, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's funny.
So, I do think that in the Prescott area, we have a lot more people coming into the industry.
Yeah, we do.
You know, as our clients' behaviors change with texting and email and all that, our agents need to adapt, and I think younger agents getting into it adapt easier.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm seeing that all across the board.
I believe that's I believe that's correct.
Okay, so I just see this. It says 64% of all realtors are female.
Wow. Yeah, I believe that.
That's impressive. So this is a female-dominated industry.
And I will be the first one to admit, lady realtors are far more detailed-oriented than than I am.
Well, but that's, you know what, I was raised.
We all have our start points, right?
Yeah, but I was raised that real estate was one of the best avenues to get into because you were an entrepreneur.
That's
you
right.
ran your own business. It was one of the cheapest ways to start your own business.
Well, and it's one of the ways that you can get into it, and there's no limit.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I think our top grossing agent last year was over $300,000 on their 1099, and then the second one was not too far below that.
My goodness.
And but we
Females?
also
Were they females?
they were they were females. One of them worked in Sedona, and so you know, the average price in Sedona has gone up,
yeah.
Yes.
and so there's almost no inventory over there now. But that is true. But you know, a lot of people think that realtors are just wealthy people, and they're not. The average income nationwide is just under 50,000.
Yeah.
And so, and that's working 35, 40 hours a week. I can tell you as a broker, I don't work less than 50 hours a week, and many times a lot more.
Yeah.
So
That's hard.
yeah, the job's not done when you go home, that's for sure.
I was impressed by the education
Yeah.
because it basically was saying that they had some college, but mostly bachelor's degrees. I
Yeah.
didn't really. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know our agents seem very intelligent and very smart, and so I'm like, now I know.
No, you know what?
Now I know why. Yes.
So how do people find their agents? I think a vast majority is online. It's on the internet. Whether they search for a particular brokerage, which I don't think anyone does. I think most people start with, hey, I'm looking for a house in this area in this price range, and ultimately that leads to an agent, which is not really the best way to go. Is what we tell people is talk to your neighbors and talk to your friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought maybe referring would be bigger.
Yeah, I almost 100% of my business, I mean, just almost all of it is referrals.
Well, and I'm thinking with as long as you and I've been here, that's what we were raised with.
Oh,
is
yeah.
Right.
Who do you know and how do you
Who did this for you?
Yeah, did you trust them? Kind of
Well, and we, you know, this is a big topic in our office meetings and our training is where's the business come from? And I think that good solid business practices, doing a great job is probably the best source of referrals. And unfortunately, a lot of agents don't have that same mindset. But I can tell you, I've gotten business from clients because they say, hey, the neighbor told me to call you.
That's the best thing.
That is,
Yeah.
that is. And we typically resale, you know, the average house sells every 10 years, right?
Right,
So if I sell a client a house now, I'm pretty sure 10 years from now, they're looking to upsize or downsize or grow a family or something. And we get a lot of that repeat business. And when we don't, we're okay with it, but we'll ask them.
But I thought as a real estate agent, you wanted to get that repeat business.
You do.
You want to build that
You know, that relationship.
that database of friends and relationships. Yeah.
Well, and you know, there's a particular mindset. We use the Buffini framework and referral, business by referrals, and it really does work. I mean, you have to be a good realtor.
Yeah.
You have to have good business practices
Yeah.
and make just like escrow officers and. You have your fans out there,
Yes.
and they go out and pass out our business cards and tell people about us. But yeah, a friend of mine's a golfer, and so when he goes, I typically pay his round of golf because he passes out my business cards when he's on the course.
That's the
$40.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
awesome.
you know, I
That's
don't
cheap
mind.
advertising. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and so here was an interesting statistic. It said the average home seller is in their mid-50s, and their median household income was a little over $100,000.
Wow.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
That is.
And home buyers, later on in the report, it says home buyers' median income was about $75,000, I believe. And so I just thought that was an interesting, because we do get a lot of people selling expensive homes in California They come here.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people, you know, the interest rates are so low.
Oh my gosh, they're incredible.
Why would you pay cash for something?
No,
You know?
well,
I mean, you could invest it and go
Yeah,
somewhere
make
else.
more return on it. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I
So do you think this is still true? This typical home sold was on the market for 3 weeks.
I would say that's probably true with
True.
our, because, you know, in my networking group, I have brokers, owner brokers in quite a few areas. I have 12 of them in my networking group that we meet twice a month with, and their shortage. I mean, Florida,
It's
Reagan in Florida tells me they're just begging for stuff.
Yeah.
Got a broker in Massachusetts I network with, and they're short too. And we're critically short.
Yes.
I mean, 4 years ago we had 4,000 homes on the market.
No, could you?
Yeah, today I bet you we don't even have 400 homes on the market.
Now, see, what we're being told is it's nationwide.
Oh, it is.
The inventory is low nationwide.
And so, you know, I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Where are these buyers coming from? I mean,
I don't know, because I'm not, if they're all primarily buying for themselves, I'm like, how many people need houses? Do we have this influx of people?
Yeah, and is this a second house for them?
I don't know.
You know?
I don't know.
So I suspect because the rates are so low
Yeah.
that people that used to rent are now buying.
Which is a perfect
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Because you can't beat it, and especially in our area.
Right.
Rents are high. Why not buy a house?
Oh,
instead?
absolutely.
It saves you the money.
Yeah, I get calls every day for rentals, and we're just like, guys, there's just nothing. And what's out there is expensive.
Very, very
So,
expensive. Yeah.
Let's see, so as we start to wrap this down a little bit, I think that most buyers, if they don't have a realtor, are probably calling on yard signs and...
Are there any yard signs out there?
Yeah, very few.
I haven't seen. Have you seen?
No.
No.
I had a listing there in Granville on Kirkwood, and we put the sign up. It was going to go in the system. It was going to go online the next day. Before the day was out that the sign went up, we had a $10,000 over list price
Oh my
offer.
goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And
Wow.
it's that crazy out there.
That's nuts.
So
But that's a good thing.
that's not a bad thing.
Apparently they like where we live.
They like where we live.
Yeah.
And and that was a quick close. That was like a 3-week escrow.
Yeah.
And cash, you know, so.
So
Yeah.
we love cash.
Yeah, we love cash. Yeah, so I'm
We
not
can't
arguing with
take
that.
it, but we love it.
We love it.
Yeah.
And Patsy, tell us where your office is again.
Our office is at 1871 State Route 69
Okay.
in the Frontier Village Shopping Center.
Right next to Starbucks and Applebee's.
Yes.
Well, I was getting ready to say, if you say
Yes.
Starbucks, people will know right where you're at.
Yeah.
It's,
Starbucks, Applebee's, and then way over on the other side of the parking lot is Planet Fitness.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Are you a member of
I
that?
am, actually. Yes, I am a member of Planet Fitness.
So, well, congratulations. Well, congratulations on your affiliation with Lawyers
Thank
Title
you.
now.
We're excited to have her.
And yeah, you guys got
Yeah.
a new office member and
Yes,
everything.
we're excited.
So, well, guys, thanks for being on this episode.
Absolutely.
Thank
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 you.
Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.